You're watching the Talk Mania, and I'm your host, CJ. Welcome back to another album ranking. I haven't done one of these in a while and thought it would be kind of cool to visit Meshuggah, which is one of my all-time favorite progressive bands. And yeah, basically got me into modern metal, stuff like Gojira and Orbit Culture, that type of stuff. Meshuggah was the opening band that I got into that genre through, and yeah, they have 9 studio albums, every single one of them being absolutely perfect. There's not a single bad album that they've done. There's got to be a number 9 and there's got to be a number 1, so let's go into it. Number 9 is Catch 33. A lot of people would agree with me here, but not a lot of people would agree with me. This album is perfect. The experimentation on this album is absolutely amazing. They have the best part about this album is the whole album is just one song. All of these songs here are basically just fitting together, like one after the other, just completely in sync with each other. And the album is basically just one big long ass song, which is absolutely fucking great. That is one thing that this album does pretty great, is how it presents itself, how it progresses along. Just absolutely love how great this album is. But I prefer the other Meshuggah albums over this album, so it's kind of comes in at number 9, or the worst one. But it's not a bad album at all. Number 8 is Contradictions Collapse, which is the 1991 album, more of a progressive thrash album. Has more of a thrash metal sound to it, but still perfect, still great all the way through. Songs like Erroneous Manipulation, Qualms of Reality, Internal Evidence, Greed, Choirs of Devastation, just absolutely a great album. But prefer the other stuff over this album as well. Kind of like hardly ever go back to this album unless I want to listen to progressive thrash, which is basically I'd never do. But when I listen to it, I really do enjoy it, so that's why it comes in at number 8. So number 7 used to be a tie with number 6, but I came to a conclusion which one I like better, and that is just the one that I like the least is Destroy, Erase, Improve. A lot of people are going to be quite mad with me for putting it at number 7, but I like the newer stuff. As you could already see, the newer stuff is higher on the list than the older stuff. Future Breed Machine, I recently seen them and they played this song, which was absolutely amazing. The song, and it's not my favorite on the album, Terminal Illusions, is basically like one of the newer. It's basically like the new style Meshuggah on the older album. It's basically like showing you what they're going to become with this crazy headbanging riff that just goes throughout the whole album, or goes throughout the whole song. Just absolutely love Terminal Illusions song, and also songs like Sublevels, Transfiction, Vanished, Acrid Placidity, all great songs as well. All songs to check out. Nothing bad on the album, nothing bad on any of these. So, and number 6 is going to be Nothing, the album Nothing from 2002. I really didn't like this album to start out with when I first listened to it a couple of years ago, but that's because I listened to the remastered edition or the re-recorded edition with the 7-string guitars instead of the 6-string. The 6-string guitars is where this album is at. Honestly, the original is the way to go for this album. Songs like Rational Gaze, Perpetual Black Second, Organic Shadows being the best song on the album. Just overall a great album. Kind of like is like the middle ground between. It's basically the kick in the ass to where they're at now, but not as good as. It's kind of like the middle ground. It's kind of like where Catch 33 is as well, but this album is a lot better than Catch 33. It's just nowhere near the newer stuff, honestly. It's nowhere near the stuff from 2008 onwards. So yeah. This is at number 6. Number 5 is Chaos Sphere. I do have the patch for Chaos Sphere. I do have the patch for Violent Sleep of Reason and Ubzen on this vest as well. I went nuts with Meshuggah patches. But, yeah, they played nothing from this album when I seen them, but I like this album. I really do like this album. I think this is like one of their weirder albums. It's like before they went. It's not like their old, like the 2 albums before it, but it's nothing like the albums after it. It's basically like a clean, like, if you want to listen to this album, this is basically the album to go to for this style. It's basically all progressive extreme metal, but not like the albums after it. So kind of a different album. Corridor of Chameleons, probably my favorite song on this album. One of my favorite Meshuggah songs ever. New Millennium, Cyanide Christ, The Mouth Licking What You've Blade, Elastic. I really do like where they mix all the songs together and just jumble them into a ending, which is absolutely great. I love that ending for the album. So yeah, Chaos Sphere at number 5. Number 4 is the one I mentioned before, Violent Sleep of Reason. I don't know why everybody doesn't like this album. I don't know why this album is always hated on, why everybody ignores it. It's a very good album. Like, Born in Dissonance is an absolute banger of a song. They played that song live, and basically the moshing was very fun during it. Yeah, and you also have Monstrosity, By the Ton, Violent Sleep of Reason, the title track, Our Rage Won't Die, Into Decay, Nostrum. Absolutely great album, honestly. I know there's going to be some people that disagree with me for it being at number 4, but this is my list, and I absolutely love this album. And we're going into number 3, which is Immutable, the brand new album. I'm not going to really go into a whole lot of details. Just basically, if you want to hear more about this album from me, just go check out the video prior that I did about Meshuggah, which was a review of this album in full because it came out this year. Starts out with Broken Cog, which is a great song as well. They started the show with that song as well, where I seen them. So, The Abysmal Eye, Light the Shortening Fuse, absolutely banger of a song there too. Ligature Marks, probably the best on this album, honestly, for my opinion right now. Maybe it was different back then. That's why I would tell you to go view that video. Black Cathedral, I Am That Thirst. Just absolutely all around great album. It's actually a heavier album than what was done before it. To go into number 2 now, which is Coloss, or the 2012 album, right after Abzen. The album after Abzen, it was like a little bit of a break between releases there, like 4 years. I Am Colossus starts at this album absolutely brutal. It's an absolute crazy song. Do Not Look Down, Beyond the Sun, The Hurt That Finds You First, which is one of the songs they played live, which is an absolute banger live song. Like, yeah, I wouldn't know the song if I didn't hear it live, but I heard it live and then re-listened to this album and just absolutely connected to it, and I thought it was an absolutely great song. Morrow, Demiurge, which Demiurge is another song that they played live, and it was during their encore. Absolutely love that song as well. The Last Vigil to end the album. This album is absolutely great. I don't know why everybody has a big whole problem with it. I know a lot of people say this is not as good as some of the other stuff that they've released. It's my number. Comes in second for me. And that leaves number 1, which is Abzen. Of course it's Abzen. It's the obvious pick for being number 1 through Meshuggah. Of course it's going to be Obzen. Why wouldn't it be Obzen? Because it's the album that has Bleed, and it has the title track, Obzen, which is, my opinion, is better than Bleed, honestly. I think Obzen, the title track, is my favorite Meshuggah song ever. Also, songs like The Spiteful Snake, Provis, which was the only song they played from this album during the set, Combustion, Electric Red, Lethargia. This album is an absolute fucking banger from front to back. And it's basically it's basically gotten a whole generation of metalheads into modern metal. It's basically like the introduction to modern metal. I would say that this album is probably where that whole like djenty stuff started. The djent style. Yeah, the bands that I named before, minus Gojira, because Gojira was around before that, and they released like a couple albums on the progressive death style, which I've done a ranking for them as well. But yeah, that's what I think of Meshuggah. Hopefully everybody liked it. I will see you guys in the next video, which will be up tomorrow. So, stay metal, and I will see you in the next video.